So I had an opportunity with those women. Did any of you ever see Starting Over? Yeah, Kim and Jill and Jody and yeah, every single one of my pathologies. And I knew my time at Starting Over was over when I saw Rachel. Remember Rachel? Rachel was the one whose mother died. And she came to the Starting Over house and she didn't know her father. And I was very, very clear as soon as I heard the story, this is my granddaughter. This is my granddaughter. Her mother has died and she's not in good relationship with her father. This is my granddaughter and I have to know what to do with this. So in serving Rachel, I was real clear that I was serving my Neomoja. And once Rachel left, I knew my lesson was over and I could go. I could go back home, because I needed to raise my granddaughter. And I needed to be sure that the pathology was not passed on to her. I needed to be sure that I was for her who nobody was for me. I had to be sure that the pattern, you see, my mother died and my mother's mother died. And now I had an opportunity to have a girl child whose mother had died and to be for her who nobody else had been in my line. That was my mission. It didn't matter if I wrote another book or didn't, or did another TV show or didn't, or it didn't matter. None of that mattered. Didn't matter. Didn't matter that my husband was gone. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. So I did Starting Over and I got what I needed and I came home and I pursued getting custody of my granddaughter. And one day I was in prayer and meditation and I had this incredible vision. See, this is why you'll have to buy the book so that you can get all of the pieces of it. And I had this incredible vision and I saw this beautiful woman and I don't know, yes, I see visions and I hear voices. And I ain't shamed. Okay? And you be reading about it too. Who read The Value in the Valley? Visions and Voices. I put them right there in the book. This ain't nothing new. So I had this vision of this woman, and she said to me, she said, thank her. Thank her. She took away 17 generations of women who were abused by men. Thank her. Thank her that she walked the path and the journey so that you didn't have to do it because you have work to do. It was an agreement between your soul and her soul that this is what she would do, that she would clean the way and pave the way for her daughter and her daughter's daughter, 17 generations of women. And then she began with my mother, Sarah, and Elizabeth, and Naomi, and Ruth, and Iyanla, and Mabuti, and Lady, and Hokana, and Jamasi, and Toda, and Ayana, and Ayosi, and Karima, and Kumati, and Joe, and Yanni. That my daughter gave her life to clear 17 generations of women. See, that's weird. Even for me. Okay. But when I started to look, and I immediately ran to Ancestry.com and started looking up my family lineage, because my mother's name was Sarah, and her mother's name was Elizabeth, and her mother's name was Naomi, and I didn't know any further back than that. So I'm assuming with all the 6 billion people in the planet, what is the likelihood that I would be the one meditating? And the spirit would just pass by on the way to McDonald's and lay out my family lineage for me. Why would I choose to disbelieve it rather than to believe it? But the other part of it is it brought me peace to know that my daughter didn't die because I was a bad mother. And she didn't die because bad things happen to good people. It brought me peace to know that there really is a spiritual rhyme and reason, even when I can't see it and when I don't understand it, that it is going on. It brought me peace to know that it was her choice to choose me as a mother to come through my body into this family and to choose to break the cycle of dysfunction. Deep. That go in the deep box. So I came back from starting over to a mess. Because my daughter was diagnosed in 2002 and I was crazy, and she passed in the end of 2003 and I was crazy, and I told you all I was asleep from January to June. We now into 2004, and then I went to do starting over, and I came back, and I stayed there till 2006, and then I came back, and I realized, oh, joy or rapture, I forgot to file taxes. Let me just fill them out and take them down there and see what they say. Here, Mr. IRS person. I was crazy. I was crazy. I was suffering. And here they are. Here, would you like these? Yes. Okay. Bye. See ya. And what had really happened was I had bought a building, and I hadn't renovated the building because everything kind of erupted. I had bought a building, and I owed the IRS the exact amount of money that I paid for my building. So I didn't have the money to pay them, and they put me on a payment plan, and, you know, hey, listen, I owe the IRS taxes. And not because I just didn't pay my taxes, but because I was crazy. But to them, I just didn't pay my taxes, you know? And so I tried to work things out with them, but they can really be nasty. I don't think I like them. And I'm real clear they don't like me, you know? And I had a really good lawyer and everything, and so they said, well, you know, we'll work out something with you, but you know, you've got to pay us. And my accountant figured out how I could discharge some of the back taxes because they were old. I could discharge them, and we did that, and that really made them quite disturbed. They were very upset with me. And so, and then they said, oh, well, you know, we won't negotiate with you as long as you have that house. What? What do you mean? My house? I'm the first property owner in my family. I broke a pathology. I came out of an apartment. I own a house. And it wasn't an ostentatious house. It was really a cute little house. It was really nice. It was very nice. And what I did was paid a little bit of money for it and put a lot of money in it. So it was the bomb diggity. You know, I had everything just like I wanted. Ladies, can you imagine having your dream kitchen? I had my dream kitchen. Yeah, I had my dream floor. I had my dream curtains. And they wanted it. How many bombs would it take to get rid of that? No. Ooh, that's not spiritual, Iyanla. And I also had, they didn't get it because I actually had one of those crazy mortgages where I had this balloon payment that was due, and nobody would refinance the mortgage that I needed to. So bottom line, I ended up losing my house. Well, actually, I didn't lose my house. God took the house back to make room for something else. You know? So here we go now. I'm off. Lost the TV contract, the husband, the kid, now the house. Only thing I hadn't lost was that extra 15 pounds on my butt. That wasn't going nowhere. What are you doing back? You know, broken pieces. Broken pieces. Each one of them has a meaning. Each one of them is calling us to a higher way of being. Broken pieces of our relationships. I kept marrying my father. It was a broken piece. Broken pieces of our self-image. I was raised from here to there. I never really understood and knew what it meant to be a woman and what a woman's role was and what her job was. I didn't know what it meant to mother or be mothered, and I had taught myself and I had learned, and I really didn't learn until I read my daughter's diary, her journals, and she really shared with me her experience of my mothering. It was a broken piece. Broken pieces of how we pull things together and hold on to things that we think we need. I didn't need that house. I'm so glad I got rid of that house. They took it, thank you, because a year later the market crashed. I probably would have ended up losing it anyway. It was a broken piece. It was built, it was fruit of a poisonous tree. It wasn't that I loved it or needed it or wanted it. It gave me a sense of value and meaning that really had nothing to do with who I was. It was a broken piece. So here I sit today. I'll let you read the other details. At peace. Just at peace. And able to stand in the story. That's how you know you're at peace. When you can stand fully in your story, without any excuses, without any judgment, without any heat. Stand fully in your story. This is what it is. This is who I am. This is what I did. This is what happened. And ta-da. Ta-da. And you know, it's not about telling the story, you know, for shock value or for news. It's about telling it so that you can see what part of it still resonates upset in your being. And that's the part you have to go in, and that's the part you have to heal. When I discovered that my love of 40 years was marrying or in relationship with somebody that I knew. When her husband was dying, I prayed for her. I sat with her. And this was the woman that he was with. But then it didn't matter. It didn't matter whether he was with her or you. He wasn't with me. So what was the point? And so I'm driving along, I'm driving home one day, I'm driving home out to my empty house that I was getting ready to lose, and I'm driving home. I mean, can you imagine? Job gone, man gone. I mean, it was very interesting. And still people would call and say, we want you to come speak. Me? I can't even find my lips, okay? So I'm driving along home, I'm driving along home, and I knew the one thing that I had to do about it all. I knew the TV show and Buena Vista and Bar Wall Productions and Oprah and my husband and everybody, and I knew the one thing that I had to do was to forgive. That's your ticket to peace. That's your key to peace. I don't care what you do. You can skate around, you can dance around all you want, but eventually you're gonna come right back to forgiveness. Yeah. You got to do it.
Peace from Broken Pieces. Available everywhere from Smiley Books.